Here we are at a first harvest host here in Paso Robles at Tobin James Cellars Winery. First time we've just signed up for the harvest host program. We got a place for one night, not too far from home, so we can figure it out. Have a large field right here. A couple RVs already here. They expect a few more to arrive later tonight. And we got Minnie Winnie parked right on the edge, a little bit of shade. And she casts her own as well. Somebody else parked over there. Momentum just came in. And look at you all filthy laying in the dirt. That was our first night at our harvest host here in Paso Robles out 41 at Tobin James Cellars Winery. I said there would be a couple of people here. We did have, oh, somebody else came last night, but there were, I guess, only 3 of us here through the night. Our neighbors left just a little bit ago. It's I guess about 8 o'clock in the morning. You see, it's a nice place. You got an open field, and then in the back, very private, just some woods, so a nice view out of that side of the RV, and not a little ways off the highway, so not too much noise. It was pretty quiet, and had a good night. And we're gonna get out and on the road in just a bit. Making a little stop this morning. We drove a little bit of the ways to our second harvest host. We're headed to Peggy Sue's 50s Diner. We're down the road, but we stopped here in Bakersfield. My wife had to get on a Zoom call, so she's going to do that. So we'll be here for a couple of hours, but I want to pick up a few things at Walmart, and there's a Home Depot here, and even a Foods Co. So it's a nice stop, lots of things to do. Restaurant, even found they're having a car show over here at, behind me, it's behind me, over this way, at one of the local restaurants. So might check that out and have some time to kill while she's doing her business. So there we go, we'll keep on rolling. Still hanging out here in Bakersfield at the big mega center, I guess it is. There's a Roadhouse Diner. My daughter's dog Mason. I'm taking him out for a little walk. Wife's almost done with her meeting. Already went to Home Depot and Walmart a couple of times. Pick up a few things. And the dog get his legs stretched before we get back on the road. Head to our next overnight at Harvest Host at Peggy Sue's Diner.
Stopping for gas.
So we made it to Peggy Sue's Diner, but we're going to do a slight change of plans. Instead of harvest hosting here overnight, there is a KOA campground nearby, and about $50 a night. And since we need propane and some water, and we would like to run our air conditioner since it's very warm today, they have a hookup, so we're going to over there and do that and spend the night, and it's probably pretty much worth it. but we still stopped here for a snack and to pick up a magnet and just enjoy the dinosaur park they have here in the back. It's a nice little picnic area. So we're headed over to the KOA in just a few minutes. So we're over here at the KOA campground. First thing we're going to do is get some propane filled up in our portable propane tank and in the RV. So we'll have propane for our Blackstone Griddle and for, of course, the hot water and the fridge running. And then we'll move on to our site. But here we are at the KOA campground. Barstow Calico KOA campground, hooking up the water and sewer. But of course, before I hook up my, well, we didn't hook up the sewer. We don't need that, but we hook up the water and hook up the electric supply. Of course, I put my surge protector on there first to check it, and the 30 amp was showing me reverse polarity. So I went to the office. There's nothing they can do, but I do have a 50 amp to 30 adapter. I threw that on, and then again, with the breaker off, turn the breaker on with the surge protector not plugged in to the RV, and then checked it, and that seemed to be okay. So I turned it on, AC's running, wife turned it on, everything seems to be okay. It's really hard to read these in the bright sunlight, so I might have been getting a false negative polarity, but why take a chance, right? So I hooked that up, and hopefully we're good to go. We have arrived at our third night and our stop on our journey to Flagstaff in Minnie Winnie. It's our second harvest host. It was going to be our third, but as I told you earlier, we switched around from Peggy Sue's 50s Diner. It was a little warm, and so we decided to go spend the night at the KOA, get water, fill up propane. We're able to get full hookups and allowed us to spend an evening with the AC running and watch a movie on Disney Plus, Mulan. And that was kind of nice to relax. So here we are at the Desert Diamond Distillery in Kingman, Arizona. And the people were really nice and welcoming. We did a little tasting, enjoyed some food, and it was quite nice. I'll give you a little look around. And as you can see, nice little inside there, the tasting room, a large, comfortable patio. Even though it's quite warm, it's really nice. The breeze and the shade, it's not, even though it's hot, it's not too hot. And didn't explore the train car there, but isn't that kind of nice and cool? And so they have a very large area for a Harvest Host Park, and it's just a really nice experience. And we bought a bottle of spirits to share with our family at Christmas time. So a pretty nice night. We're gonna buckle up and we'll see you maybe in the morning. I should mention they're even pet friendly. They let old Mason come inside and relax on the floor, air conditioned, while we did our tasting. And he's enjoying the breeze as well right now as we sit in front of the RV and the shade and enjoying a nice afternoon breeze with a couple of snacks. Mason, you have anything to say? Bark? No? Okay. Night night.
I think we're on slightly better roads. I also think we're not 30,000 pounds, which.
What do we do when we're RVing? We watch other people
Look at Idaho, guys.
on YouTube that RV. Wanna walk? Mason. All right, we parked and we're set up. We were gonna head into Flagstaff, but we found on Campendium a state park here that has free camping, and there's apparently lots of room. We pulled in here. It's off Garland Prairie Road, just off the 40, just or 64, near Williams, Arizona, just 2 miles off the freeway, and it's actually pretty nice. Let me go ahead and show you around a little bit. So here we are set up. Pretty much set up. Yeah, parked fairly level. Did put a couple of blocks under the back driver's side, and but otherwise it would have been pretty level. The road in pretty well maintained, dirt road, but fairly flat and solid, and no problem. And it looks like there's a bunch of people, but pretty spread out as far as the park. Love it that we found trees. The weather today is lovely. I guess it's in the low to mid 70s, and that's not bad considering we were coming from 90s heat in Calico and Barstow and through Yerma. But last night in Kingman was a bit warmer. It did cool down in the morning, but it started, you could tell it was starting to warm up. So here we are for now, 1 night or 2 nights. So I should mention they do allow up to 14 days free camping here in this state park, and it's very nice. Lots of nice pine trees, shade, pretty well spread out. We get I think we'll get enough sun. One of our solar panels was in the sun, the other one's mostly shaded, but batteries are still completely charged, so we're fine. Open the windows, let this nice cool breeze brush in. Very comfortable here at Garland Prairie Road near Williams in Arizona. Here we are, still night 4 at the state park just outside of Williams, Arizona. We did decide to move a little bit. We were back there down the road a little ways. We moved a little bit closer to the highway, but not too close. It's not very audible, and when you're inside you can't hear it at all. But the reviews said this got 4 bars on Verizon, and we were back there. We were only getting 2, but when we walked in this area, we could get up to 3, which means we can still stream and have some entertainment this evening in the RV. So we decided it was worth it to pack up. Although before we settled here, we did drive across the street to another campground. There was supposed to be a loop next to the campground that was also state park land, but I guess it was closed off. The state park did charge $26 a night, but no hookups or amenities. They did have picnic tables and fire rings, but you can't use the fire rings right now because of the high fire danger. There is no fires allowed outside, but here we can use our Blackstone Griddle, or as long as I guess you're really careful and something like that, we can cook inside the RV. So we'll spend the night here, maybe stay here again tomorrow night. We'll have to wait and see. It is really nice. We did orient the RV now, so we do have the shade of the RV. We're kind of reversed on the opposite side, so in the afternoon it shades us. The awning wasn't doing that much in our old location, so we'll probably be here tonight, maybe tomorrow night as well, unless we decide to start making our way back. We thought maybe we'd go down by Joshua Tree State Park and take the southern route back home, but we'll see and we'll let you know. In this new site, we did we'll update you, and we did have a little it was a little tricky. We had to avoid these two large ruts that apparently somebody had left during the wet season, and we kind of straddled one of them. We're able to get pretty safely in here. It was a little tricky, but we made it, and hopefully it won't be too hard getting out. Backing in was just, but was the tricky part. Pulling out will be easy, just go straight ahead. A lot of the issues on a lot of the spaces we saw here is on the road, there is a pretty big incline just coming off the road at most of the spots, and I'm curious as to how some of the trailers were able to navigate that without bottoming out. I was a little afraid, but we did all right. It just was a little nerve-wracking at the time. You can see we came down that area right there. And it's morning, or well, just about noon here now. Had a decent night's sleep. Got a little cooler, down to about 41 overnight here, but not bad. Inside and in bed, it was pretty warm, but it was pretty chilly this morning. But it's warmed up nicely. It's a beautiful day here just outside Williams, Arizona, at the state park. Again, free overnight camping. We got out the Blackstone and cooked last night dinner, and then cooked some bacon and some pancakes, and pre-cooked some chicken for later. We'll just heat that up on the stove later tonight for dinner, or maybe for lunch, or even tomorrow. It's in the fridge. So there we are. We're going to enjoy the rest of the day. Probably going to stay one more night here, and then start moving back towards home. Stopped here. I thought I'd pop up on the roof and clean off the solar panels, and since I was up here, I'll give you a little look. We do have two solar panels. I believe they're 120 watt each, I think. A friend of ours installed them, Mike Anderson, and he does have a, if you're in the Central Coast of California area, he does have a new startup business, or he does some repair called Anderson Solar Repair. I'll try to put a link in the description below, or you can look up, he's on the internet, just Anderson Solar Repair. And if you need help cleaning or maintaining your solar system, or some advice, you can give him a call. Anyway, so we just have the two panels and two lead acid batteries underneath the steps to the entrance of the RV, and so far we've had no problem running out of power or solar or electricity. And you see both of these are now kind of in the full sun. It's about noon. The front one was a little bit shaded just a few minutes ago, but we're fully charged, and we're probably going to stay that way, and we only drop about 20% through the night. Hello again. Our plans did change. We decided not to stay an extra night there in the state park. We decided to head down, pack up and head down to the road, and we are at the historic general store and RV park on historic Route 66. This is just off Highway 40 in Seligman, Arizona. We've got a general store, and they're not kidding. They've got everything in there. We did decide it would be nice. It's getting a little warmer. They have full hookups and gave us a great rate. It's supposed to be $31, I think, because all they had was 50 amp, but they gave us the 30 amp rate for $25 a night. And so we're going to be here tonight, hook up, we can dump, we can fill up our water, and run the AC and be nice and comfortable through the night. So here we are at the U.S. Historic General Store and RV Park, Highway 66. And the next morning, I didn't film it, but at the Seligman campsite, we went ahead and topped off our fresh water, emptied our tanks, and we're rolling on the road. We're going to get going to, we stopped here to get gas at a Shell. It's only 2:13 here, just shy of Kingman, Arizona. And then we'll be on our way, and we'll check in from the next location. Okay, here we are that evening. It's been quite a day. Our longest travel day and probably our worst or most uncomfortable. Trying to avoid the heat in Arizona and then Southern California, and that was just about impossible. So moving through the desert, we did end up stopping. We had to stop a while for some construction, and while we were stopped, we found a section of our side panel was completely pulling off. Thank goodness we had some flex tape in the RV, and while we were stopped, we were at least to do a temporary patch job to hold it, to keep it from ripping completely off. We tried to stay at a few places in Yucaipa. We are members of the Elks, in the Elks Lodge. We found that, and we found out it's really a parking lot and not an actual RV park. And it said no trespassing, so we decided not to stay there. Then we found a city park online, but apparently got there too late. You had to be there a half hour before the park actually closed. They locked the gates and there's nobody there to let you in. So we found a good backup alternative, and here we are at a Cracker Barrel. And there, yes, you can absolutely find park in our parking lot. So we're doing that. We're running the generator, get the AC, cool the dog off, cool the wife off, cool myself off. And actually in the evening now, it's a lot more pleasant because the sun is down and getting a breeze and it's cooling. So we can almost make it home tomorrow, but we may overnight one more time, possibly at another harvest host, or if we find another decent campground with some hookups, it's really nice to be able to plug in and run the AC and not have to run the generator. Oh, that's here we are, night 5 on our big journey to California and Arizona. All right, we spent a little time here at the Cracker Barrel. We both got a shower, we relaxed, we watched a little TV, but even we couldn't really run doesn't seem like we could really run the AC continuously with the generator going, and it is 88 degrees at 9:30 at night. So we decided we're awake. We're gonna get up and we're gonna roll up the road and get someplace nearer to the coast where it's a little bit cooler, in the low 60s. And so we'll talk to you, we'll check in when we're a little bit further down the road. And updating, well, got some rest. Well, we drove through the night, and after checking several options, we, including thinking we'd just stop at a rest area, but that was closed. We pressed on a little bit further, ended up in Buellton, and pulled off, and there's a large parking lot behind the Pea Soup Andersons. And so about 2 o'clock in the morning, we just kind of parked, got some sleep, and we're up, and I think we're just gonna progress and end our journey and head to home, sweet home. There you go. That's our adventure in Minnie Winnie. It was interesting. We stayed at a couple of nice parks or RV camps, and of course I really enjoyed that free camping. That was a great spot there near Williams, Arizona. Thanks for joining our adventure, and we'll see you next time.